Good evening, good evening, good evening. We have made it to the final night. The final night of her Inner Circle Challenge. Come on in and join me for this last night. Good evening. Say good evening so that I will know who is there. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me for the final night. The final night of her Inner Circle. Come on in. Good evening. Good evening. Say hello so I know who is there. I'm going to get started in just a couple minutes. Good evening. Hello, hello, hello. We have made it. For those of you who have joined me for each night, we have made it to the final night. Good evening. Good evening. I'm going to get started in just a couple minutes. Hey, Mom. Good evening. Say hello as you come in so I will know who is here with me tonight. We've been coming this way. This is our third night in her inner circle for this challenge. I'm going to give it a couple of more minutes. Good evening, good evening. Just a couple more minutes. Good evening, Lady Brenda Porter. Good evening. I'm going to start in about one more minute. I hope that each of you have had a great day on today, a winning Wednesday. I hope it has been a great day for you. And whatever it is that you have been doing today, I hope that it has been a great day. All right, about one more minute. One more minute, and then I'm going to go ahead and get started. One more minute. Hey, sis. How are you? Good to see you. All right. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. I am going to go ahead and get started. Others will probably join or catch the replay. I am Coach Sandara, and my mission is to assist women with being their very best selves. And I coach women, and I use 3 words primarily to assist women to becoming their very best selves. And those 3 words are clarity, consistency, and confidence. I believe that no matter what a woman has gone through or what a woman has experienced, that she can still be her very best self in every area of her life. And so I have this movement, HER, and the HER is an acronym for Healthy Energy Restoration. So I use that for my coaching, for my mentoring, and I empower and I motivate. My mission is women primarily, although my message can be for men as well, but primarily it is for women. And so we have been coming this way in my private group here on Facebook, in my private group, Reclaim Her Peace of Mind. We've been coming here for, this is the 3rd night for the Her Inner Challenge. And this is a challenge that I am doing because I am kicking off on June the 3rd, my Her Inner Circle monthly mentorship program. So I wanted to come here for these 3 days just to give a little bit of taste as to what is going to be going on the inside of my Her Inner Circle mentorship program. And so I want to do a recap of what I have covered night 1 and also for night 2. On night 1, I used the 3 words attitude, actions, and affirmations. I expounded on those 3 words, and I asked you to choose a word that you would use on that day or the next day to work on your inner. And some of you chose that word. And quite a few of you chose affirmations, and you realized that you wanted to use affirmations to help do the inner work on yourself. And so last night, the words that I used began with the letter B, and the words were build, believe, and boundaries. I expounded on those 3 words as well. And I hope that you chose one of those words and you use that today as well, because we are working on our inner. And so this is the purpose of the 3-day challenge, where I've been coming for 3 days to challenge you as we work on the inner. I've talked about each night that we can do so much for the outer. You know, we can put on makeup, we can put on clothes, we can put on our nice shoes, we can carry a nice purse. We can do so much on the outer. But what's really important is the inner. Is our inner in check? Or is our inner jacked up and all over the place? God is looking at our inner. He doesn't care what we do to the outside, how we dress up. He doesn't care about our hair, how long it is, whether we wear a unit or whether we wear weave or whether it's bald. He really doesn't care. That is for us. But in order for us to be healed from those things that happened to us in our past, or those things that happened to us in our childhood, or those things that happened to us that hurt us or disappointed us or violated us, we have to go through a period of healing in order for us to be our very best selves. And many times it is difficult for us to do this alone. And this is where a coach or a mentor comes into place. And so tonight, I want to continue. I absolutely love using words. And I typically, that's how I coach, that's how I mentor. That's even what I do in my sermons the majority of the time. If I use a word, the word usually begins with the same letter. Why do I do this? I just believe that it is easier for people to relate, and not only relate, but for people to remember. It's nothing like hearing somebody say something and you don't remember what they said, or you're not able to tell another person what they said. So I just find that it is easier if I use a letter and I pick all the words that begin with the same letter. So I'm going to continue with that tonight. Good evening. Good evening for those of you who are joining. Thanks so much. I am going to continue with that tonight, but I want to ask you a question. Out of the 6 words that I have given you thus far: attitude, actions, affirmations, build, believe, and boundaries, which one have you applied the most? Which one have you applied the most? I know it's only been 2 days, but which one have you applied the most? Attitude, actions, affirmations, build, believe, or boundaries? If you had to choose just one, what would you choose? Now, I know that there's a little delay with Facebook, but if you can go ahead and type one of those words that you feel like you applied the most: attitude, actions, affirmations, build, believe, and boundaries. If you had to pick one word, what would it be? What would it be? As you're working on your inner, what would it be? What word would it be? Attitude, actions, affirmations, build, believe, or boundaries. Okay? Believe. All right? All right? Yes, sis, I'm sure you do. Those affirmations are so powerful. Okay? Affirmations. Anybody else? Another affirmation. Okay. Anybody else? Out of those 6 words, if you had to choose one, what word would you choose? I would also choose affirmations. I do affirmations on a daily basis. So that will be 3 for affirmations. I'm going to give it about 30 more seconds if anybody else wants to answer before I dive into tonight. Attitude, actions, affirmations, build, believe, or boundaries. If you had to choose. If you had to choose. Boundaries. Okay. All right. Thank you for those of you who answered on tonight. So tonight I am going to dive in, and tonight the words begin with the letter C. Now, I'm not trying to do a ABC because it's the beginning of the alphabet. I just chose these words and it just turned out that way, that they would begin each night like the beginning of the alphabet. So tonight I want to use the word C. C. And the first word that I want to talk about, and remember, these words are what we want to use as we work on our inner. We want to work on our inner just as much. No, we want to work on our inner more than we work on our outer. Why? Because we want to be healed. Because we want to be healthy. Healthy, healed, peaceful, joyful in every area of our lives. So tonight, the first C is consistency. As women, consistency can be challenging at times because we have so much to do, so many people to care for. We work, we're moms, we're grandmothers. Some of us are pastors. Some of us are pastors' wives. Some of us, we have other businesses on top of everything that we already do, right? And so it is kind of difficult for us to have consistency in our lives. Now, when I say consistency, I don't mean the consistency of our morning routine. You know, we get up, we pray, or we meditate, we brush our teeth, or we wash our face, and we prepare to go into the day. When that is consistency, but that kind of consistency does nothing for our inner. I mean consistency as we work on our inner, right? Prayer, meditation, reading the word of God, spending time alone, quiet time, journaling, burning a candle, taking a walk, exercising, sitting in a park, going to the beach, reading a good book, coloring in a coloring book, doing not so much crossword puzzles. That kind of relaxes us. But I am talking about doing those kind of things. It is hard at times because of our schedule, and it is hard for us to do it consistent. I want to say to you tonight that in order for us to have the consistency that we really need, we must plan it out. We cannot just go day to day. No, we must plan out our schedules. Let me confess. Well, those of you who are live now, you know that I recently retired. Now, before retirement, I did everything to my planner. If it wasn't in my planner, I didn't do it. Right? Well, I am about 2.5 weeks into retirement now. And I have not been writing things down as I normally did, and I've done for years, right? Because I said I was going to give myself a couple weeks to kind of like get away from that, because you know that's how I live. That's how I live my life. But I still have to do certain things for my business and certain things for my church. And what I've noticed that I'm not writing down things, I'm forgetting some things. And I'm not keeping up. But when I write everything in my planner, I make sure that it gets done. What I'm saying is that in order for us to be consistent with anything in our lives, in any area of our lives, we must write it down and we must plan it out. If we don't write it down, more than likely, we're not going to do it and we're not going to be consistent. If I had to ask you tonight, if there was one thing in your life that you would like to be consistent with, what would that one thing be? One thing that you would like to be consistent with in your life. And it doesn't have to be to work on the inner. Just one thing that you would like to be consistent with in your life. And I'm going to start. I would like to drink water every day. Now, I have a problem with that. I don't like water. But I know that water is good for me. And now that I'm getting all my doctor's appointments and all that stuff in, my doctor told me that I need to drink more water when all my blood work and everything came back. So I would like to be more consistent with drinking water. If you had to pick one thing that you would like to be more consistent with, what would it be? Now, I could pick others, but one, just one, before we move from consistency. Consistency is so important in order for us to work on our inner. It is so important if we're going to work on our inner, because we got to have a routine. We got to make sure that we follow through with the routine, okay? Exercise, that's another one. That's another one I wish that I could be consistent with. All right? That's another one for me. Eating healthy. I wish that I could be consistent with that. Those all mine, and those two is one of mine as well. Name one thing that you would like to be consistent with, because I'm telling you that when we get consistent about what it is that we need in our lives and that we need for our lives, things happen. And in order for us to work on our inner selves, ladies, that is what we must do. We must get consistent. And if you're not able to do it from memory, write it down, plan it out, have a daily plan, or Post-it notes. I have Post-it notes everywhere, right? On the mirror, Post-it notes in the car. in order for us to be consistent. It is important for us to work on consistency while we work on our inner. So the first C is consistency. The second C is confidence. I want to tell you that if we have more consistency in our lives, more consistency for the things that we would like to do, for the things that we would like to have in our lives, the things that are important to us. If we would have more consistency, then our level of confidence would be where it needs to be. See, what happens is with confidence is tricky. And as women, what we can do at times is we can set ourselves up for failure. Let me tell you how. Many times we put too much on ourselves. We try to do too much, or we take on too much. This is what keeps us from being consistent. And when we're not consistent, our confidence goes down because now we're discouraged because we don't have consistency. Consistency and confidence work together. Consistency is a build up or the primer. Primer. We can relate to primer before painting. You have to use primer for you to get a good finish. Or for those of us that get our nails done, the acrylic nails, before they put the acrylic on your nails, they put a primer. And why do they do this? They do this so that when they put the acrylic or the powder or whatever it is that they're going to use, they prime your nail first so that when they put the nail product on there, it is going to adhere and it's going to take well. Well, that is what consistency does for our confidence. It's a good primer. Why is it a good primer? Because when we have great levels of consistency, we feel better about ourselves. We don't wait for anybody to tell us how we look or how good we look or how well we did or how well we did on that project or how well. No, we already know that. Why? Because we have built up our consistency, which has ultimately built up our confidence. Now, don't get me wrong. We're women, right? We like compliments. We like for people to tell us things. We like for people to tell us that we look nice. But if you have worked on your level of consistency, and if it is at a high level, then your confidence is already where it needs to be. What am I trying to say when I say that? When your confidence is at the level where it needs to be, when somebody gives you a compliment, it's just that. It doesn't blow your head up. It doesn't make you feel all, because you already built up your level of confidence. You are in control of your confidence. And you do it by way of you being consistent. Consistent. It builds up your confidence. And I want to tell you tonight that you are in control of your confidence level. Nobody else, no other human being walking around on this earth is in control of your confidence level. Nobody but you. I need you to say that. I am in control of my confidence level. That's an affirmation. Mhm. I I am. I am in control of my confidence level. Nobody else is in control of that. Not your spouse, not your boo, not your children, nobody else. Did I say that? I did. You are in control of your confidence level, and you build it up by your levels of consistency. You are in full control of that. When we realize that we are in full control of us, our inner will be in a better place. Consistency builds up our confidence. It's the primer to your confidence. When I say that, what I am saying to you is never work on your confidence without first addressing your consistency. I said something right there. You should not even be looking for your confidence to be at an all-time high if you are not willing to put in the work and be consistent. Yes, I got to be consistent with drinking my water. You said that you want to be consistent with exercising and eating healthy. If you're not consistent with those things, why would we look for high levels of confidence? Right? If we're not consistent. You can't get to confidence without consistency. We got it all wrong. We're working on the inner. Consistency builds up. There's that word. Last night, build was one of the words that we used. Consistency builds up our confidence. So the first word for tonight is consistency. The second word for tonight is confidence. If you had to rate your confidence level on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being low, 10 being very high, where would you rate yourself? Your confidence level, you, not anybody else. How do you rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10? 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. I would rate myself a 6. All right? 5. Anybody else? How would you rate yourself? Your confidence level. How would you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10? All right? Another 5. Okay? 7. All right? Anybody else? A scale of 1 to 10. How would you rate your confidence level? Scale of 1 to 10. I ask you this question because of the last C. The last C is create. Create. We ourselves. I want you to touch yourself wherever you are. Say, me, I must create the time and space for what I really want. Tell her that again. Me, I must create the time and the space for what I really want. In order for us to be healed, to be healthy in every area of our lives, we must create the time and space to do the work on ourselves. Nobody else can do the work for us. We must do the work ourselves. So you must create the space for you to exercise, for you to eat healthy. I must create the space for me to drink more water. Whatever it is that you chose, you must create the time and the space to make it happen. Nobody else can do that but you. Here's the thing. We as women, as I said in the beginning, we have so much to do. We nurture, we do so much in our home life, in our work life, in our church lives, and many times we neglect ourselves. We put a lot of other things before ourselves. But what do they tell you when you get on the airplane? They tell you when you get on the airplane that you must put the mask on yourself first before you can put it on anyone else or assist anyone else with putting on their mask. That means your children, if you're on the plane, that means your mother, your spouse. You can't do it for anybody else. You got to do it for you first. But as women, we have a hard time doing this, right? We put everybody else and everything before us. Well, I'm telling you tonight that in order for us to be healed on the inside, in order for us to be in a healthy place and space, we must create the time to do the work that needs to be done. We must create the space for that. We must plan it in our planner. We must write it out. We must create the time and space for where it is that we would like to be, for where it is that we would like to go, for where it is, for what we would like to see happen. We are in control of that. Consistency, confidence, create. If you had to pick a word tonight out of these 3 words that you need the most, consistency, confidence, or create, which word would it be? Which word would it be out of the 3? Working on the inner. Which word would it be? All right. Consistency. Mine is consistency as well. Consistency. Right? Anybody else? As we come to this last night of this 3-day challenge, I want you to take the words that you chose and I want you to apply them. Not just apply them, but I want you to apply them with pressure. What do I mean when I say that? I mean that I want you to really work on those. Okay? So that's 4, consistency. Ladies, if we are going to be completely healed, all right, create. If we are going to be healthy in mind, body, and spirit, then we must be intentional about the work. We must make ourselves a priority, not taking anything from anybody else, not your spouse, not your children, not your grandchildren, not your church, not your job, none of that. You must learn how to plan what it is that you need. And this is what we are going to be doing on the inside of the Her Inner Circle. A lot of times we cannot do this alone. And this is why I am inviting you to join me in my monthly Her Inner Circle mentorship program, where we will do the work together. You will experience this type of coaching and mentorship, except it is going to be deeper because we will not be on Facebook Live, on any social media outlet. We will be in a closed virtual space. And we are going to deal with those things that are keeping us from being in a place of healing and healthy. We got to be intentional. And when you work and you're not doing it alone, you are more apt to do it. This is what I have learned in my group coaching. You don't feel like you're alone. You feel like you're in there together. In fact, relationships and friendships develop in my group coaching programs. I'm telling you that it is so necessary for us to do the work that we need to do on ourselves, not looking at anybody else but ourselves. Each night, I have led you in a meditation as an example of what will take place inside of the mentorship. Monday night, I led you in a breathing exercise, and the sounds were playing. And I asked you to identify with what you heard. Last night, I led you in a candle meditation, and the music was also playing. And I asked you to identify with what you heard. Again tonight, I am going to do the same. I want you to put both feet on the floor if you can and sit up straight. Listen for what you hear, the different instruments. Connect with the rhythm of what you hear. This forces you to be still, for you to center, and for you to focus. Notice that the sounds are changing. Connect with what you hear. Connect with what you hear. Allow your mind to go with the flow of what you hear. Go ahead and close your eyes. Feel the beats. Focus. Focus. Prepare to take a deep breath and hold it. Take a deep breath. Release it. Take another deep breath in. Release it. Take one more deep breath in. Release it. And now I want you to turn your head to your right. Stretch. Hold it. Hold it. And back to the center. Now to the left. Hold it. Stretch. Back to the center. And I want you to raise both hands up. I want you to reach like you're reaching for the ceiling where you are. Reach, stretch, reach, reach, and still connect with what you hear. Bring your arms back down. And reach again. Reach. Reach up and grab the ceiling. Reach. Reach. You should feel that stretch. Arms down. Sit just quietly. And open your eyes. What I've demonstrated to you each night is how taking 5 to 7 minutes can help you wind down, get in tune with your inner, with yourself. It does not take that long. When we apply the words that we chose, apply them with pressure. Be more intentional about our inner work. We will feel better. Our energy levels will be better. And we will feel better about ourselves. Yes, I make time to do this. It is vitally important. It does not have to be long. And along with the coaching and the mentoring is what you're going to get on the inside of my upcoming Her Inner Circle Challenge. If you thought that these 3 days of this free challenge was something, wait until you get on the inside. Tonight, I am asking you, if you want better for her, more for her, if you want her, who is her? Her is you, to be healed, to be healthy in every area of your life. Not healthy over here and jacked up over here. No, total. I invite you to join me in my upcoming Her Inner Circle Mentorship monthly program. I don't discuss price. The link was already posted, and I'll post it again. But what I want to tell you, and you can either do annual membership or monthly membership. But what I want to tell you tonight, that because you have joined me for these 3 nights, that I am doing an offer for the next 24 hours, meaning it will end tomorrow night at 9:30. I'm going to take it to 9:30. Where if you sign up within those 24 hours, that you will get $20 off of your first month and your last month. If you do the annual, you will get $40 off of the total for 24 hours. If you are serious about joining me, then I invite you to make the investment. Make the investment in yourself. Can I tell you that you are worth it? Can I tell you that you are going to be in a better place after we spend this time together in my Her Inner Circle? Now, I have not done this, but I want to do this tonight because I've done it Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Before we end tonight, does anybody have any questions? Any questions that I can answer? Anything that you would like to ask? Or anything that you would like to say about these 3 nights? Anybody? Anybody? Any questions? And I want to thank you all. And I am going to give, y'all know I'm a giver. Lady Brenda Porter, you have been here every night. I have something for you coming every night. I have something for you. Lady Brenda Porter. No questions? No questions. Well, let me say thank you so much for joining me for these last 3 days. These last 3 days in my Her Inner Circle Challenge. Thank you for giving me a little bit of your time. Thank you, Sabrina. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Lady Porter. Thank you so very much. Thank you. I will be in touch. After all, you're not that far from me, but I will be in touch with you. All righty. Thank you all for joining me tonight. I hope that these 3 days have been uplifting to you. I hope that you have been motivated, encouraged to work on your inner. And I look forward to connecting with you on the inside of Her Inner Circle. Have a good night. Take care.